I see you were able to lay on some color on your black and white ocean. How'd that go? Yeah, it was interesting. As I stated in another video, I thought that I'd basically been using transparency and not really knowing it, just watering it down. But coming in a form like the phthalo green here, as which I used in these highlight areas, and the phthalo blue, of which was a vast majority of the waves. I can see the benefits of using these things because I'm covering a massive amount of area, and I can really see how when you're laying on your other colors on top of it, layer after layer after layer, how it could really come forward and make the painting a lot richer. Okay, well, not bad for our experiment. I mean, you know, we probably should have done a couple of practice panels and figured out exactly how these things are, but I think we're more wired as the sink or swim type of person. Yeah, I think so. Let's just dive in and see how it happens. And there were lessons to be learned in this one. Yeah, you ran into a little bit of trouble with one of those transparent paints, didn't you? Yes, I did. This iridescent purple, iridescent pearl. I just figured it was some type of neat white paint I could put on there and see what would happen, but it's actually like really sparkly, like you definitely want to use it if you're painting pearls, or maybe like fairy dust or some magical mist or something like that. But in this painting, I laid it on over here and throughout here, and it really was just so reflective. It made it really difficult for me to see what I was doing. I had to stand at really bizarre angles so that I could just see how I was laying on the paint. And I basically had to go back and just layer on titanium white to re-establish the structure. So, you know, that was a mistake. Wrong, not a mistake. That was a learning element. So now we know if we want to paint fairy dust or some fancy fog, or, you know, pearls, or, you know, we could go back and lay that stuff onto the sigh of death and really make that kind of the original, at least, pretty interesting. Yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Well, at any rate, let's focus on the painting that we're doing now. What do you have in mind today? Are you going to continue painting the ocean? And if so, are you going to lay on the iridescent pearl, not purple, yet again? As far as the ocean goes, hopefully not. It's made it so hard to work with. I don't see why. If the painting looks bizarre though, like this half is really standing out versus this half, I will have to lay it in on some key elements, maybe up here or something like that. But I don't think I want to paint on the ocean today. Well, there's a ton on the ocean to do, but if you don't want to paint in the ocean, then what are you going to paint on? I want to establish a movement in this piece, or at least know what I'm doing so I can kind of replicate it from one area to the next. So what my idea is I'll start in on this section here. If I can establish this wave and coming down and establish this man's face, then I have this whole section that I can push and pull into the next section, which would be here, into the next section, which is here, and so on. I get it. Just paint out this one area hardcore, kind of finish it, and then it'll be easier to know how to do the rest of this stuff, huh? Yes, I think so. What color are you going to paint those faces? Just flesh color? I hadn't thought about it till just now, but actually I think yes. I think flesh is going to work out best because I want the background to be as absolutely dark as possible. And so if I have these dark greens and blues, then some flesh colored oranges and reds even, entangled with the other colors, I'll put in some greens and some maybe cold lips, or I don't know, but I think we'll start with flesh and see where it goes. All right. Well, speaking of goes, let's goes to it. Slight change of plans. Slight change of plans? What do you mean slight change of plans? I think we're gonna have to finish out the faces across the ocean before we focus on the one element we discussed. Okay, why exactly? Because the color combinations that I used, even though it's not detailed out yet, I've used 6 different tubes of paints, and if we continue painting on this, it's going to be days before we get to the other figures. So to keep the faces consistent throughout the painting, it's important that we continue doing the faces now while it's fresh on how we laid those painting structures down. Whatever, man. Whatever you think is right, I trust. Let's keep working, okay? Okay.